So pressure washing, power washing, whatever you want to call it, is a business that I absolutely love. It's on the Businesses I Love page of the website, and I actually have a little rundown on how I would start it. So if you're on the Businesses I Love page, you can click on power washing, and there's a little article about how I would launch it, how I would get some early customers, and how I would grow it and scale it. But for the purpose of this conversation and to help you, Chris, I've thought about some ways to market it. But before we get there, I'll just kind of give you the rundown of how I would launch this business for those interested in it. Yeah, this is a great low-cost business to start. I love it. So first thing I would do is I would buy a web domain, and I like Bluehost. That's on my website. You can also do a launch kit with Adam over at Sparrow Websites. You can go to launchkits.com/sweaty. And I think for $500, he'll set you up with a WordPress website, all these Google listings, your Google Voice number, your Google My Business location, Google Analytics, Google email with actually your domain on the email address, just the tools you need to set up and run the business. You can get that stuff done. First thing I would do is get a website. Second thing I would do is get a Google My Business location up. And then I would just go out and try to find some customers. You can do some nitty gritty marketing, basically just order $100 worth of flyers online with, you can get flyers made on Canva yourself. You can do it yourself on Canva. You can go to Fiverr. You can pay somebody to make you a little logo, put your Google Voice phone number on there, put your website on there. And I would just start dishing out these flyers all over the place as an early way to definitely get some customers. Go to some high-end neighborhoods, door to door, putting these things on door hangers and things like that. Now let's talk about marketing. So yes, it is a business where you're gonna have some churn. You're gonna have turnover. I think I get my driveway got power washed about a year before I bought my house, and I bought it a year and a half ago, and it just now needs it now. So yes, you're gonna have the challenge of getting new customers all the time, which I think in one way you should embrace that. You should embrace the fact that most of the customers coming in are not brand loyal to any given power washer. They don't necessarily have a relationship with any given power washer, and you can offer the service and be really good at getting customers. So what do I mean by that? I mean, churn is okay. So organic traffic is what you need to be focusing on. Search engine optimization. You need to put some content, do some content marketing on your website. If you search content marketing on my website, there's a whole article about content marketing and some really good resources on making an article, making some videos, showing yourself as a professional. Google loves that. You'll get some organic traffic in your area. But the main way that you're going to get business is with your Google My Business location. Basically, it's a pin that you drop on your house, in your business, wherever you want, that people can search on the map function for power washing companies, and you will show up. Now, the way to show up and get found on the Google My Business location is pretty simple. You need to complete a listing. You need to send, make posts, make sure hours are all set, put videos and pictures on your listing, and then you need reviews with photos. You need to offer a customer a little bit of a discount off their service if they will leave you a Google review with a photo of the clean sidewalk that you did, right? You can have your friends and family that you power wash for in the early days leave you photo reviews on your Google My Business listing. That'll help you a ton. So let's talk about there are some ways though that I think that you can get recurring business out of this. It might not be one company, one person that offers you service. So I would focus on other people that your service kind of goes hand in hand with, and they can refer the people who use their service also likely need your service, and they can refer you business. You can refer them business, and it can be an amazing setup. So I think of realtors, number one, people who buy and sell homes for clients. They make a lot of recommendations for home services of all kinds. My realtor recommended me the cleaning company, the moving company, the lawn care company, all this stuff. She kind of knew the town well. I was brand new to town, and she was able to recommend me people to do those things for me. So get in with some realtors. Go around town, find the top 5 producing realtors in your city. maybe sponsor an event that they're all at, a top 10 realtor function or something like that, where you can get in and talk to them, give their cards out. And I would even consider going to their houses and power washing their driveways for free. Sit down with the realtors. They don't get solicited as much as you might think. Call them, sit down to lunch with them, go to their house, power wash their driveways, and then encourage them, hand them your card, encourage them to send you business. Ask them, follow up with them often, send them a Christmas gift every year. Ask them to send you business. And episode 44 is really what you need to listen to in this podcast. It's when Max Maher, a buddy of mine, comes on and he talks about something where in the wintertime for his moving company, he went around and contacted 500 businesses that could potentially refer him clients. He went and met them. He shook their hands. He got them gifts. It was amazing, and it supercharged his business. He got a ton of revenue. Listen to episode 44, and that will get you motivated to get out, find some of these people who can refer you business. So realtors are number one. Another one, I'm very wishy-washy, or I have mixed opinions on being a subcontractor. A subcontractor means you're not really finding your own clients, but you're doing work for somebody who found the client, and they're making a cut on your labor. So I don't really like being a sub overall because they are very price conscious. They beat you up on price, and then a lot of your eggs are in one basket if they want to take their business away from you and do whatever. I wouldn't build a business around being a subcontractor, but I would definitely get in with GCs, people who build houses, people who, maybe they run other businesses like lawn care, window washing, and they generally get people solicit them for power washing, but they don't necessarily offer it. You can be the subcontractor where, okay, they bid all their lawn care clients once a year. They say, okay, I can power wash your driveways for $280, and they give you $220, and you go do it, and they make money for doing nothing. That's basically how it works. So you can do that. I would call the lawn care companies, call the window washing companies, and just say, hey, look, if you're interested in becoming, a lead, and for me, I'd happily be a subcontractor, happily share the profit with you if you can get me business. Calling them and talking to them is something that very few people do. So now let's think about some other services that make pavement dirty, or kind of need to offer their service or to be done with their service, to be done with their clients. They need the pavement to be cleaned when they're done. One that I can think of is home builders. A home builder, they're going to pour all the slabs first, then they're going to seed the grass, they're going to be doing some grading, they're going to be doing some landscaping, and honestly, the slab of the home itself gets very dirty inside. That might not be realistic to power wash, but also they're driving around bobcats, they're driving around equipment on the sidewalks, streets, and driveways, and it's getting muddy. So they have this brand new house that's done, and it's got muddy bobcat front, skid steer tracks on the pavement. So in order to sell the house, they got to get it power washed. They're not in the business of being a power washer, so you need to go meet with the home builders and try to get them to hire you to clean the concrete. Okay, another huge one is an excavation company. When we built our self-storage facility in upstate New York, the excavation company, after the paving was done, the place was still basically trashed because they were driving around this heavy equipment on the concrete. They would go from pavement to dirt, to pavement to dirt, to pavement to dirt. And by the time the job was done, by the time the brand new building was built, it was all the pavement needed power washed. So that's another business that could say, okay, maybe we don't do this, but I'm going to recommend to my customer that they call you when I'm done to clean up my mess, basically. Another one is when we got some fill brought in the town of Dryden that we were working in didn't want the mud out on the road. So basically the excavators would pull in the dump trucks and things, and then they'd pull out of the site. This was before it was paved. It was kind of muddy. They'd pull out onto the main road. And the town actually called us 3 times and said, hey, the pavement's too dirty. You need to come and clean the street. You're making our highway muddy, and you got to come clean that. And basically we had to hire a cleaner, a power washer, to come in and wash the tracks that we were dragging out onto the road. That's another piece of business that you can get and keep it coming in and coming in and coming in, because these excavation companies need you, the developers need you to clean up the mess. So you can do that. Another one that I can think of is a pavement striping company. They want to stripe the pavement, they want to put down the lines and make the parking lot, but they do not want to clean it first, right? So before they can put paint down, they need the pavement to be cleaned. So they're going to hire you, they're going to call you, they're going to recommend you and your services over and over and over again because they can't do their work until you do yours. Another one is epoxy coating. People, it's a big deal now to get your garage epoxy, make it the concrete floor, like stain it or cover it with a kind of a shiny epoxy that makes it look really modern, really new, really awesome. In order to lay that stuff down, you have to have clean pavement. So that's another one where somebody could hire you. Another one I can think of is the city. The city itself has concrete and pavement and sidewalks everywhere, and they hire street cleaners and they hire power washers on a 6-month, 1-year regular basis to take care of it for you. As your business grows, as you get more legitimate, as you get bigger, I would not hesitate to get out and try to bid those contracts and try to win some of those government contracts to clean things like schools, hospitals, parking lots, the courthouse steps, the courthouse building. If it's brick, right, you can get some of these contracts that are lucrative and recurring. Another one I can think of is a deck builder. Somebody who builds a deck, it needs stained about 3 months later. When you build a brand new deck out of lumber, I know that this plastic decking is getting more popular. It's actually a lot better, but a lot of people still build them out of regular hardwood, and you can't stain them right away. You build the deck during the construction phase. Sometimes there's mud, sometimes there's dirt. The deck gets dirty, and then 2 months later, when it's fully seasoned, that's when it's time to stain the deck, and that's when you need to come back, power wash the deck, clean the deck before the people stain it and finish it and get it all done. So that's another business where if somebody's building decks and staining decks, they need you to come and clean it first, and they can just keep sending you business over and over and over and over again. Another one is concrete companies. Concrete companies build sidewalks, they pour driveways. These things are dirty, sometimes as soon as they're done, but often 6 months later or whenever, and that's when you can come in and get this business. So these are all, you're not necessarily going to have one exact piece of concrete that needs power washed once a month or once every 6 months or once a year. And you're going to get that stuff over time, but it's really hard to target that. So you got to think of who are the people, who are the businesses that my business goes hand in hand with, and how can I get in with them? And I would just start calling them and talk to them. I'd call them and say, hey, look, my name's Nick. I run Nick's Power Washing. I'm really good at what I do. And I know that you guys, leave a lot of dirty pavement sometimes. Who do you use right now to take care of this? And they might say, oh, we use this guy. And I'll say, well, do you want me to talk to you about some pricing? And maybe if they're too busy one day, you can use me, and so on and so on and so on. Make yourself known, get out there, shake hands, go see these other companies. I think that could be awesome. Another side thought, this is kind of out in left field, but I went snowmobiling up in the Adirondacks of New York a couple weeks ago, and I would have loved a power washer to be on the road on Sunday when we were heading out to spray off our trailer that had salt all over it, spray off our sleds that were dirty and muddy from the weekend, and help us clean our equipment. That would have been awesome. I know that you can just run through a car wash and do those things, but this was kind of a rural area. If a creative entrepreneur maybe had a setup where they're targeting some of these ATV, power sports, fishing boats, even when they're getting out of the water, they really need to be sprayed off. You could do this stuff right at the dock if you can bring your own water, and it can be really high-end service that high-end clients are happy to pay you to do so that they don't need to go through the hassle of stopping at a car wash and cleaning all their equipment and doing those things. That's just a side thought. So one way that I think is you need to differentiate yourself is quote velocity. What do I mean by quote velocity? I mean, somebody requests a quote on your website, and this is when we can talk about our sponsor, actually, Jobber, because Jobber makes this insanely easy, and I'm going to tell you how it works. You can put a quote request form on your website through Jobber, and it has the customer fill out their information, gives you their home address, check boxes on what kind of services they're looking for, give you their email address, and when they submit that, boom, it comes right to your phone. You can see their address, you can see where they are, and you can actually prepare a quote right on your phone, hit enter, and it sends a template email, which we talked about last week, sends a template email right back to the customer, and they can see your quote. I would use Google Maps. I would not visit, unless it's a really big job, unless something unique is going on, I would not visit each individual customer's house. What you can do is you can go to maps.google.com, and if you right click on the map, a little thing at the bottom said measure distance will pop up. And if you click measure distance, basically you can make points and you can outline the entire driveway and sidewalk And Google Maps will actually calculate the square footage. It'll tell you how many square feet of concrete is there. And I would have a tiered system, right? It's 20 cents a square foot if you're doing under 1,000 square feet. It's 15 cents a square foot if you're doing 1,000 to 10,000 square feet. If you're doing more than 10,000 square feet of concrete, we can go down to 10 cents a square foot or whatever. Those are some just off the top of the head numbers there that would probably make sense for how to build power washing. But basically, you get on your phone, you measure the distance, and boom, right then you have the square footage, and you can send out a quote right then because you know about how long it takes you to drive to that location. You know about how long it's going to take you to power wash that many square feet of space. And when you're power washing, by the way, do not forget to pre-treat the concrete. If you don't spray it with a cleaner before you power wash it, it's going to take a lot longer to actually get the job done. There's a lot of great resources on actually the logistics of power washing on YouTube and online to do some searching for. But quote velocity. When a customer requests a quote on your website through Jobber, get on there and instantly return a quote. And they're going to see, and the way Jobber has it set up, it's really clean. They can log in, they can accept a quote, they can request a change to the quote, they can make a note on the quote, and you have all of your stuff organized. So visit getjobber.com/sweaty where you can start a free trial and check it out. They sponsor our show. We use them for several of our businesses. It's awesome stuff. Another thing that can be really, really awesome is allowing you to keep a organized record of who you've serviced in the past. All right, it sounds like you're only about 6 months into your power washing business, but when you're a year in, you can look back and reconnect with some of your previous customers. So many businesses totally forget to follow up and try to sell again to previous clients. So many businesses are so unorganized, they don't even know who they serviced last year or the year before or the year before that. So as you go in business, you need to keep an email listserv of your clients, and Jobber lets you do this stuff, follow up with past clients. You can go right on there. You can see who you service. You can email them. It's awesome. Don't forget to do that because 6 months from now, you'll have a customer that you didn't service in a year. Their payment's starting to get dirty again. You can reach back out and try to set up some recurring revenue from that one client. Overall, this business is hard because you have some churn. It's really hard to get recurring revenue, but if you really embrace SEO, if you really embrace your Google My Business listing, if you really embrace getting found online, if you really embrace getting recommended, and word of mouth marketing is huge, then that is a great way to get some clients. Another one is direct mail. Direct mailing is not a bad way to market at all. Try it out. Test it. It's called like every door mailing a postal service offers. It's EDM or something like that. And you can select what neighborhoods, and you can send your specialty marketing flyer right to all those clients. It's really awesome stuff. So that's another way that I would try to market this stuff. You can get creative, obviously, with some power washing designs on the side of the road. If you're looking at the how to start a power washing business on my website, you'll see that there's some before and after things you can put on your website where basically you slide a little slider and it shows what the pavement looked like before you started and what the pavement looked like after. Also, the Sweaty Startup Forum is teaming with power washers because a lot of people, I think, are just interested in starting a business that is low cost, low risk. So you can post on there and kind of bounce some ideas off marketing or search the Sweaty Startup sub on Reddit. It's reddit.com/r/sweaty startup. You can search power washing or pressure washing and a lot of stuff will pop up. Last thing here is different areas of the country call this business a different thing. While some people in Boston might call it power washing, the people in LA might call it pressure washing. Some people might call it hard washing, soft washing, whatever. You need to go on Google Trends and look up in your neighborhood or in your city which one of those terms is more popularly searched so that you know which keywords to optimize your website for when it comes to SEO. If you search SEO on the podcast, I have several SEO episodes that can give you tips on how to, optimize your Google My Business listing, how to get your website ready to be found on Google. It takes time. SEO takes time. So if you're considering starting a power washing business this spring, get going right now, right? It's so critical that you do it right now. But as always, thank you so much for listening. And I really appreciate you sending me this note, Chris, to answer. I've had some fun diving into this. And if you want to send me a note, record some audio on your iPhone in a quiet room without a lot of echo, and send it in. And maybe I'll dive in and answer the question on the air. So as always, thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you soon.